Welcome back to our podcast. Hello, I'm Tara.
I'm Natalie.
And we are making a movie. We are about halfway through making a movie. We're at 44 episodes. So what do you think? We'll hit 88 episodes? I don't think that's how it's going to work out.
I have no idea.
I don't think that's going to be,
I
don't think that's going to math at all. Yes, welcome back. Natalie and I are filmmakers, and we are making our very first feature film. And the feature film is called, turns out it's the apocalypse we think, a buddy comedy set in the apocalypse. And we've wrapped filming. And now, before we head into post-production, we want to talk to all of you guys about production because we don't want to just glib through that.
Yeah. We
Well-
like I keep saying there was a giant gap. We went from episode 42 where it was like we're scrambling to make a movie, and then it was like episode 43. Hey, we made a movie. So we had some catching up.
We gotta cover that gap before we really dive in. Although we have put the movie in the can, we are now in post production. We are still scrambling with money. We're still trying to put some monies together. If you want to help support that little post production process in small incremental ways, we got a PayPal. If you're watching us live on YouTube on a Wednesday morning and you want to do the super chat, we do that. We take all those little funds. We're going to stick them in a bank account. It's going to help us get through post-production now. Thank you to everyone who helped us get through production with your stream cheese monies and your coffee monies because it definitely helped. Now we're going for the post-production. If you want to be an investor, if you've been watching and you're like, you know what? These girls have got something. They got a movie I think I can believe in. Netflix, man, they're not doing enough fun things. Email us. We got a whole deck, and Shannon, I still owe you a deck. I know.
Gosh,
Shannon
dang
West.
it.
I know. If you saw my to-do list right now, you would understand. The amount of hours I put in at my night job right now is exhausting. It's wild. All right, that's enough of that housekeeping stuff. Let's have an episode today. So last week we recounted our experience going through it. And even though we were all together in the same place, efforting on the same thing, everybody else had a very different experience. So now we're going to start going to all of our department heads and our friends now, our dearest cohorts, and asking them about their adventures. And today we're going to bring back on two people that you might already know from previous episodes, Mike and Allison. Mike is our director for the movie. Allison is our incredible executive producer for the movie. If you think
Emphasis on incredible. I'm going to
I
throw
know.
it on there.
Well, I'm emphasizing it because I feel like, no offense, Mike, and we'll bring them in a second. I feel like directors get so much of like the credit for the movie. And it, of course, I'm watching Mike on set and like everybody come up and ask him 8 billion questions and his eyes go really wide and him still maintain patience and calm in front of everybody. I'm like, yeah, it really is a director's game. But it doesn't frickin' happen without an incredible executive producer or producer at the helm because there are just so many things that happen behind the scenes that we don't even know about that the producer quietly just takes care of and doesn't even stress you out with it because they want you to stay focused and creative. All right, without more preamble and chitty chat, I'm just gonna bring him in. Yeah, I'm also full blush honesty, guys. I'm coming off of a bartending shift working at a bar on St. Patrick's
Day.
My brain ain't working so good today. It's a little bit fried. I am very tired with 2 hours of sleep. All right, bring in our dear cohorts in. Everybody, say hi to Mike and Allison.
Hi, it's just me. I'm the
Mike
only
and
one who
Allison.
can do that.
This is everybody.
Hi, Natalie.
Welcome
It's good
back.
to be back on the pod.
Yeah.
Do we still say that pod?
Sure.
Only some people.
Okay.
I haven't said pod.
I've never
Good
said
to be back on the
pod,
live
but,
stream. I don't know. Good to see
They
you
do
again.
say that. They do
I've
say
missed
that
you.
on our mutual favorite show, Ghosts, the pod. So
True.
But Todd says it, so I don't know. This is deep
Ooh, the
coast
Todd pod,
conversation.
yep.
The Todd
Anyway.
deep coast conversation. This is not about the movie whatsoever.
Also, Tara, I'm happy to sending Shannon the deck off of your plate. I will happily do
Oh my God.
Oh,
after we
look at
after we wrap
that.
up here today.
See,
Do not worry.
this is the producer for you. They go, oh, you're having trouble completing this task. Let's take care of that for you.
I
That'd
got
be
you, Shannon. Don't
amazing.
worry.
That would be amazing. Actually, that would be amazing because I'm like, wait, where is that again? Where in the computer systems are all that? Yeah, welcome back. We've had both Mike and Allison on the show before, talking about their independent stuff. This is the first time we've had you guys together. I had a total mismemory about that. In case it wasn't clear before, they are a married duo who make up the Evening Squire Productions, who have joined us. Our little production companies have joined teams to make this happen. Oh
With our
boy,
forces combined.
yeah,
Truly.
Movies.
we made one mighty movie. All right, so we're gonna kind of handle this process in a bit of a timeline kind of a way. We're gonna go step by step, which is not how you make a movie. We make a movie out of order. We're gonna go in order for once because it's so much easier to do things in order. So when we got to Alabama, we were doing stuff, but I didn't feel like I did a whole lot, which means that you guys must have been doing a ton. Is my assumption. What was the week leading up to production like? Once you got to Alabama, what was that like for you guys?
So we're based in New York City, and so we drove ourselves down. One, because there was a dragon statue we needed to bring back to New York with us, but also so we would have our car when we were filming. And we took
There's
2
a
days
dragon
2
statue.
days to drive down. Had a lovely brief overnight in Virginia. And we sort of hit the ground running from the second that we got out of the car, because we were fortunate enough we rented a house to shoot in for the feature, and so we were able to get the keys the morning that we got there, sort of late Thursday night, I think, and then early Friday morning we were able to get the keys to the place.
Wow.
So able to start putting things inside of the house because it was a completely empty house, but also assessing sort of what was there and getting ready for when our production designer and art director landed, I think the following day.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a blur, that final week, but we'll try and pick through as chronologically as we can.
Yes.
Well, I will say there was this really amazing doc that Allison had put together when everyone was getting in town, and under each of our like columns, this sheet, under each column it had where we were obligated to be on what days. And I mean, and I think it was broken down into like 3 sections of a day. There was morning, afternoon, and evening. So like I knew. And I think that came from Tara and I both going, we need structure. Like when we get there, we're gonna freak out if we don't have any idea. It's really me. I was gonna freak out if I didn't know where I was supposed to be. So Allison had this entire document together of like where we needed to be, what we were working on each day, which I think was the only reason I can even remember anything that happened. Is because I can kind of picture it on a spreadsheet.
But and so much of that was like, I think y'all were asking for that structure, and I was like, oh, I've already like my brain was downloading things, so like let me just here's the spreadsheet I put that in, and like let's organize it so it's not just like a Allison's brain dump and is a usable document for all of us.
Yeah, and to be able to look ahead slightly as well, because you arranged like an NPR interview with the 3 of us, and so I could see a couple of days ahead of time. Oh, I'm going live on the radio on that day. I need to think about a thing to do that thing. Okay, great. And I mean, you just laid a foundation for us, which was...
I was there. This spreadsheet was like, here's what we're doing the lead up. We shoot it, and then here's the things we do afterwards.
It was.
The shoot days was like complete blanks.
Yeah, like that wasn't your department at that time. It was like, we're prepping here, and this is what you guys have to do at the end. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was so helpful too, and also just to be able to like look at it and go, oh, so and so is doing that. Not just like my stuff, but like other people. Like, oh, so and so is doing this on this part of the day. Oh, this is a thing where maybe I can go be helpful. Oh, I won't be able to get a hold of so and so at this point because of whatever. It was really helpful to have a sheet just to know what everyone was doing. Like, if you have the ability to do that and your team is small enough, it was really, really nice to know like everyone else's. When are people arriving? Because I didn't know. Like, you guys were the welcome committee, so I was like, when does so and so get here? And I go look it up. Like, I have no clue when they're arriving. It was
and I
fun.
thought it was really fun too to be able to, because I think there were things that I knew, like as a producer I wanted to prioritize, like rehearsal time for the 3 of y'all, a space walkthrough with our DP and you and our first AD and things like that we like those were the first things in the spreadsheet that we carved out time for, and then built everything else around. It's like, okay, and if you have more time after this, and there was a certain point we were trying to find like what's your cutoff date as producers. So like you go into full actor mode. It's like go just like snuggle with your script for the next day and a half because we're about to shoot this thing. And yeah, there were so many wheels in motion at that point that was super helpful to have. I almost even forgot about the whole spreadsheet, but
the glorious spreadsheet.
But also things like, I think I was like, I want us all to make sure that we have dinner together once everyone's in town. And so it was not just like all work. It was also just like making sure, because it was the first time the four of us had been in the same place for like 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Well, since we had a meeting about making the script.
Yeah.
I mean, about making the movie. Like
Since
it was
like,
since
hey, we have this
we were
script.
sitting at the last time we were all together had been at O'Looney's in Gig Harbor, sitting there all chatting about this script and like, are we going to do this? Well, let's talk a little bit more. Blah blah. Everything else was done via Zoom. Yeah.
Which you kind of forget because this makes it the Zoom world makes it seem so like and then parasocial internet relationships. Like I'm like, no, I'm up to date on what they're doing. I see them all the time on the internet. All the time. What was the I know nothing about the walkthrough, Mike. What was that like when you guys walked into the house for the first time? Like, was it like, no, there's a lot here that we didn't plan for?
I think, and like you go in and you just initially, I try to just stay open to that space. And so everything I'm seeing is like, what's the potential of this space? What's the opportunity here? And then you can start guessing into the weeds and the nitty gritty and like, oh, well, scene 89, there's this line here about this, that's not going to play. So we'll need to tweak some stuff there, think about some stuff there. But trying to kind of maintain the kind of creative eye of it and also the technical side of it, the logistic side of it. Say, okay, where can Crafty go? Where can we eat lunch? Where can we stage gear? We have a lot of equipment, so where can we put that that's safe and secure, that we're not having to move around every time we film in a different space? Where can wardrobe be, so we're not having to kind of steam costumes every time we take them out of a thing, like just the logistic side of it. And then what the space is giving you, creatively seeing it for the first time, and like, oh, actually, if we could move the camera here, that's really interesting. Or here's an interesting viewpoint where we see kind of through this doorway into this other room, and then some window in the background. Oh, that could be fun to play with. It's just a lot of just that the wheels really do start spinning.
Sparking. Yeah. And I think we had them because we rented this house, and then we rented the major pieces of furniture that were used. So like sort of our living room sets, our dining room set, bedroom set, and then everything else we filled in from alternative places, which we can talk more about shopping from my parents' house in a little bit as well. But we sort of had initially put, like, our production designer had put the furniture and like where they roughly had been envisioning it going. And during that walkthrough, like how the couches were oriented, you and our DP and our first AD Ryan were all like, oh, actually, I think we have more opportunities if we move them this way.
The couches were different. Wait,
the couches were, and this is one of those things that you were busy doing your own things.
I had no idea.
I think they were initially set up in the way that you would probably set up that room, and like one couch was against one wall, the other couch was on the other wall,
and the TV was like over the fireplace, so you would sit there to watch TV.
But very quickly, as soon as you start thinking about the script in relation to that layout, you think, well, there's this moment here, where would the camera need to go in order to film that? Ooh, well, what if one couch kind of divided the room so we could place someone behind that couch? Someone could hide, could be laying on the couch, in our case, kind of reading the notebook, doing something kind of out of sight. How do you stage that in a way that makes sense for our story, is visually interesting, gives us, some depth and some space, because we are spending the majority of this film just in this one house. How do we keep, opening things up before we, contract them down again? How do we give different angles and viewpoints on this thing? And so we just moved the couch, and it's amazing how just kind of one small thing, can open up a whole range of possibilities.
Yeah.
And you don't think about how like a normal couch layout against walls, like sort of backs you into a corner.
It literally backs you into a corner. And like shooting someone up against a wall is not, it's if it's not necessary, like that can be a very intentional thing. But just generally in the grand scheme of things, that's not an interesting thing. You know, you're kind of flat. It's not, you know, you want that depth in the image. You know, you really want to kind of open things up in that way. And so, yeah, furniture, just rearranging things slightly just to, and that was a big part of that first walkthrough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
And then, yeah, knock-on effects of how well is the light going to go when we move the camera? How much time is that going to take to relight things? What do we need to move around in between scenes and setups and takes? And, you know, that's where Ryan, the first AD, was like, okay, how much time for this scene do you need? Okay, well, I can give you this much time. You know, those types of conversations. That's when all that really kind of started, which was a few days before day one, the weekend before day one, something like that. So that was another thing that, and that's, you can't figure that out until you physically get in there. And you know, while you could have, you know, scout time and all that kind of stuff, there's still certain things that you can't figure out until, you know, a few days before, which is.
And like, yeah, because y'all were in the bunker and we hadn't even, the bunker set, and we hadn't even fully, you were planning and talking about shots in there, which it is a small space because it's like it's just a storm shelter that we turned into a fallout bunker. But like the couch wasn't in there, the dining table, we hadn't bought it yet. I think we hadn't even fully swept. There was still some like dead buggies and things we had to get out of that space.
Yeah.
Did we find a lizard in there? I can't remember.
I think we did, yeah.
There was a lizard.
Crispy lizard.
A crispy lizard.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Oh, no. Oh,
Don't
sad.
tell Aunt
Okay.
Lily.
Okay, no, I won't. Oh yeah, so it's also what's interesting about, because we originally wrote this with a very specific house in mind. So when we were writing the scenes and scene headings and stuff like that, like we had a structure to it. And then we found ourselves in a house that was not only 2 floors instead of 1 floor, which changed a lot of things, but also the living room and the dining room were actually one big space. So like now we've got it's actually just one big room. So that does change the structure of certain scenes and stuff. We had to go back through and redo a bunch of like just thought process. I didn't even think about the fact that like you guys had the couch differently. So like turning that couch actually was kind of helpful because you did make it a room that way.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I don't think it even stood out to Tara and I, because that's kind of how the couch was in the house that we wrote it around. Like the couch that we had was not against a wall. It was floating in the middle, you know, a little bit different, but yeah. So it never even entered into my brain that this is not where couches belong.
No, not at all. I just like, of course it goes there. I never even thought that was any different.
However, I think this is interesting, and like the difference in how your brain works, Mike, and how my brain works is I wouldn't even think about moving the couch. Like I know walking into that space, like the idea that you talked about, like you walked in with like the possibilities, as opposed to I walk in and I start to see what's wrong. Nope, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. And then I can come down from that ledge and I can start figuring out the ways to like to alter things to fit the space that I'm in. But my first reaction, I mean, very different brain waves. Like that is not how I do. I'm walking in going, that page 35, that lamp doesn't work, you know? Well, we need to get a new lamp is the first thing I'd say when I walk in the room, you know?
Yeah. And that's one of the great things about those first few days. And look, it's a challenge, it's a struggle. We're working with people for the first time, and we all walk into rooms with that different kind of wavelength. And so how do we then quickly form that style of communication of like, I will take all of that. Like, give me all of that stuff. That's, you know, and now I'll take everything from somebody else and everything from somebody else.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of figure out, okay, what's the solution here? What's the opportunity here? What's the, you know, the way of kind of working this together so we can shoot this thing in the time that we have.
But I also think that was what's so enjoyable about just the 4 of us working together is I think we do all bring such a different perspective, so that when we're all like, yes, that, we're like, oh, we know that is absolutely the answer and that's the thing.
Oh yeah, if you get 4 of us agreeing, it's great.
Oh yeah.
But you also have, you know, those sort of different wavelengths, being able to like fill in the gaps where like, oh yeah, I would never even thought to do that, or, you know, X, Y, or Z. And I think that yeah, I just found that really enjoyable about the whole process of being able to be like, oh, duh, like sometimes there's like things where you're like, you could just ask them for that thing, and I was like, oh, Yeah, I could just ask them. Thank you. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I found that really helpful.
One of the big things that that happened in pre-production, and Mike, you had to make a really tough decision and then have a really tough conversation with your writers about, hey, we need to cut 4 pages out of this sucker. How did you get there? Like, that's a really hard call to make. Like, we gotta cut some things down here, and I gotta go have a really tough conversation with 2 very opinionated writers. How did you get there?
I wouldn't even say opinionated, though. I would say 2 writers who are very precious about the thing that they've been living with and working on for 8+ years.
And
And
opinionated.
Opinionated and bossy.
Well, and very good writers, like it's an incredibly well crafted script, and I've loved this script in all its iterations since I very first read it. And so this is never all of this work is never about, well, I'm right and you're wrong, or anything like that. All of this stuff is subjective. I think we landed at a place as we were going through these walkthroughs and looking at the time to set stuff up and all this kind of stuff. So we're on a limited timeline here. We have 12 days, which is simultaneously, it feels like a lot of time, but it's also kind of nothing.
It's nothing.
Nothing.
For a script, we had 144 scenes in this
Yeah, but we've already talked about how those scenes don't really all count.
But we knew, we knew that. We were like, this is these 4 scenes are basically 1 scene, and these
Yeah. I see we have like 135.
We learned something.
Counterpoint.
But still, it's a lot.
A couple of those scenes were 5.5 pages, which in any other world could have also been 9 scenes. So
Okay.
So
we filmed them like 9 scenes. We moved around.
Which we will also dig into because that's some great stuff to talk about as well. But no, like looking at this structure, looking at the kind of the schedule and the timeline for this thing, there were some tough decisions that had to be made. And I think, we're also looking at, a part of the script, part of my role, I think, as a director, and part of the director's role is to constantly try and think about, as an audience member seeing this for the first time, what do they know, what don't they know, what assumptions are they making, what assumptions may they not make. And so, the 4 pages that we landed on, a couple of them, I think we all agreed were very simple, clean. Hey, there's half a page here that could just be a visual thing. It could be a look, it could be we could change it to 1 line. That makes sense. Simple. That saves us having to reset lights, rebuild camera, like all that kind of stuff. Great. But there was a somewhat big plot point, a story point, involving the moving of the couch, this type of thing. And I think for me, there were just at that point in our story, as far as the visual is concerned, as far as this film is concerned, we're at that point kind of 80 minutes in, probably 75, 80 minutes in. I think that's when we really start, ramping up to our kind of final moment and our kind of finale home stretch type thing. And so there was just something there. It reads beautifully on the page. It is, and look, I preface all of these conversations with I love this script. I know why it's here. I know the function of this, but I think we can have a stronger ending for the film version, not the script version, but the film of this, if we trimmed a little here, if we tightened a little here, because it takes us just from kind of a bigger emotional moment to a bigger emotional moment, rather than, big emotional moment, a little bit of a kind of, it would never sag, but kind of a plateau, kind of level off, and then we build again. If we just built, then built, then built, I think that could, that helps us kind of stick the landing, if you like. And look, the blessing and the curse, we won't know until the thing is finished. We won't know. But I just appreciated the openness to those conversations, and it wasn't.
Keep saying that. I do not feel like I was open to that conversation at all.
You both were though.
That was
the floor is yours. The floor is yours.
That was trying really hard to pretend like I was. I know it was a tense moment.
It was
Mike
hard.
comes
It's
in,
always
we
hard,
sit around the
that
table.
conversation.
Yeah, Mike's like, okay, here's another scene, and Tara and I would just we take it in for a second. This is a visual. If you guys want
We'd
to
have to
watch
do
this on
some
the
math.
YouTubes.
We'd have to do some math.
It was like, okay. Oh, okay. All right. You know, I mean, it just, everything was very, I don't know. I felt like my arms were crossed the entire time.
But I think from the producing side, there's yes, there were those were like a hard conversation for all of us to have. But like one, we all sat at the table and we worked on it together. But also like we absorbed that as producers in that moment, like and like writers and director and like actors, like we absorbed that tension there because there's a world where we did try to shoot everything that we had.
Yeah.
But that ended up then we're probably pushing 14-hour days and like doing that multiple times to try to get it all in, and like potentially that tension then creeps into on set and the making of the film. And so being able to have those harder conversations before we even get to day one, and that being on the four of us to have that hardship versus putting that on everybody else to then potentially it's a scene that we end up in the edit is cut or things like that. It's like, well, we could have spent more time doing the cool thing that we wanted to do, but we hadn't, and so like, I think that balance, I think, is really, it's a big takeaway for me in terms of like how
I think
we
that's
lead,
a really good point about us, like us all doing that then and going through that hard work right then meant that we did get to have 12-hour days, because otherwise we were, cramming it in there. And I only say the part about, I think Mike is being very kind to us is what is my point, in that I do not think that Tara and I were Tara was. I was not. I'm not going to speak for Tara. Tara was like, okay, let's have a negotiation here. And I was like, I was in shutdown mode. So I appreciate Mike being very kind to us. I will out myself as being a difficult person to work with when it comes to rewrites. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I think to the point of what you said a few minutes ago, Mike, about the editing, is like, we'll see if it worked when we have the edit. Like, the one thing I'm really taking away is this being the first time I've ever written a feature and known a feature this well, is that the movie that you write is different than the movie that you hand over script-wise for the production. Like, that's one version, because technically you've got to change some things, is different than the movie that you wind up shooting, and is going to probably be different than the movie we wind up editing, and different than the movie we wind up showing to the entire world. Like, at every step of this process, this movie will change, and it won't be quite exactly the way that you envisioned it. And I think that's even... I don't think that happens as much when you're making shorts, but I think when you're dealing with something as big and as flexible and unyieldy as a feature film with as many creative voices and hands involved, like, you do, the beast has to change its shape as it goes in order for it to survive the process. And so being flexible together, although not fun at times and challenging, I think is worth it, because it's better to have that flexible beast than to fall apart in production and we didn't make our days. We don't have enough scenes. Now we definitely don't have our movie,
Yeah, and I think there's something kind of a misconception with the word tension. Like, tension is not always a negative thing.
Yeah.
I think tension is another word for conversation, negotiation, these two things that are kind of quite often, opposing each other and kind of, pulling apart. That's where some really great things can happen. And this is also, we're getting into the kind of the minutiae of like taste and kind of, well, should this joke be a verbal joke, or could it just be a visual thing? Like, which is better? Like, which is funnier? Which makes more sense for this point in the film? Like, we're really getting into the weeds of stuff, which, again, like you say, with a short, you can kind of get away with a lot of things. There's a bit more leniency. That thing that you say once, well, in like 8 minutes, the thing's over and you've forgotten about it. But we do this thing on page 4. On page 90, we need to pay that off somehow.
Yeah.
Or like, there's just so much. It's a house of cards in a different way. And Natalie, I like your, you say however you kind of remember that conversation around that table, that you are acutely aware of the house of cards that this script is, and the way you keep that in your head and the way you kind of fight for that is just so inspiring. And like, yes, like, difficult conversations, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
None of us threw our hands up and walked away from the table, even if maybe sometimes it felt like you wanted to, but like we didn't. And like we were able to.
We were all adults. We were all adults.
You could emotionally want to do that, but staying is part of the creative
No, I
process.
think we did really well. I
too.
still do think that Mike is giving me a little bit more credit than I deserve of how I handled the situation.
But also that maybe you need to be kinder to yourself as well.
Oh, Allison pulling in that magic card advice. That sounded like one of those cards you pull out
Yeah,
of the
one of
deck,
my
but
animal deck cards.
Animal deck says be kinder to yourself. Grasshopper says. All right, so we had tons of hard conversations, lots of pre-work happen. Like we were all just shuffling around. You get this team of like at some points we're like 25 people. I think day one we were probably like around 19. You get us all together and it's day one. What was day one like for you guys?
Do you want to go?
Was it terrifying?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
No, I think there's always the kind of, when's everyone going to get here? Like everyone said yes, everyone signed a contract. They're going to show up, right? Like there's always, and I think that's just me. I've had so many projects kind of fall apart at various, stages of pre-production. It's like until I'm there, I kind of don't necessarily 100 believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
For this one, we got in, this was the first time a lot of the crew was seeing that space. So there was a real like eagerness and excitement to kind of like, show me the bunker. Let's get in there.
And the bunker looks amazing.
It looks incredible.
Cool.
Incredible.
It looks so cool.
And so everyone immediately was like, oh yeah, let me get a camera. Let me start seeing how this thing goes. And I know, one of the things that you, Allison, were really strong about was like, no, beginning of every day, we're just going to pull people together for 2 minutes and have a kind of, top of the day morning. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just St. Patrick's Day. So you could say that.
The
top of the morning chat.
Top of the day meeting.
There you go.
A kickoff meeting for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember
Pre-shift.
like as things were starting to kind of, people were getting carried away and starting to really just get going on the work, you were very adamant about no, like you have to pull people back. You have to just kind of say something here. And that was it's an exciting moment because you don't quite know. It's you're standing at the starting line. Even though we've all collectively run a marathon to get to that point, we now need to run another one just to get through the next 12 days.
And I'll be honest, I think day one was not at all what I expected it to be. From like my producer standpoint, because I thought I would have more time to be at monitor and like checking out what was going on, like just being part of that. But we still had to the house wasn't ready to be filmed and we were supposed to be there in 3 days. And we also knew that it was we were supposed to do our 2 days in the bunker and then 2 days exteriors. And it was looking like rain in 2 days time. So we need to figure out how that schedule is going to shift. Like this is our first time. It was our first time. I think someone acknowledged too, like day one was our first time working with anybody that was on set in the roles that they were in. Like we had not, everyone was brand new almost to everybody else. So I'm out there with my little, like, everyone put your name tag on, what your role is, so people can get to know you. And it's not like, hey, you. Because I think there's just like a level of respect that brings to be like, oh, hey, British Mike. Hey, PA Mike. Hey, other Mike.
We had 3 mics.
3 mics.
3 mics, 2 Haleys. But I think so. Yeah, I think I was a little surprised by that, and then there was just some other things that came up that needed to be dealt with, sort of like crew housing wise, and like getting a handle on how the catering timelines will work and what that looks like. And so it was just a lot more other things than shooting the movie on day one for me. And then also I was still just like figuring, making sure that I had everyone signed deal memos and things like that in place, and sending out some additional certificates of insurance and things.
There was still a scramble. There was still a scramble at the house, which of course we were not really privy to because we were on set at the bunker. But I really think, and not that you can always do this, but I think it was a really cool way to start with the bunker, because it was such a novel thing. If we were just shooting in the house, like, I think if we had done the bunker in the middle or towards the end, like, I don't think everyone would have been as as on board, like it was
As jazzed.
cramped.
Yeah.
Yeah, as jazz. Like it was cramped. We were all like stepping on each other. We were all freezing in that bunker. However, like it was such a cool thing. Like
Yeah.
I've never shot in a bunker. Most people have not had like everything that we're filming in this very moment is new to the people that are shooting it. Like, so you're, as opposed to just shooting on a couch in a living room, even though, yes, it's the apocalypse and the windows are boarded up, but there is like something very novel about this first thing. So I think it got everybody just like the jazzed about it. And I think not that you can do that with all projects, because you don't always have a thing like that. But thinking about that, if you do have this thing that you can do early on in your setups, and you said it was because it was Mike, you had said you would plan those because they were easier shoots. Like it's easy to get people off the ground that way, as opposed to the outside stuff.
Yeah,
But
and I mean, easier in some ways, more challenging in others, but
yeah,
it kind of eased us in. And yeah, to your point, I think people walking in there for the first time, seeing that production design, like Kevin and Trish did such an exceptional job in that.
Yeah.
People walk in and see that, and it's like, oh, this is legit. And
Yeah.
then you see that on monitor, on the screen, on the camera that Dave is bringing, on these lenses that Dave's got. Shane has lit it in the way he has. It's like, oh, this is a legit thing. So yes, kind of budgets and all these kinds of things, but production value, like this is so
it was
elevated.
so cool.
And so much kind of more than I think any of us could kind of have dreamed about 18 months ago when we started talking about this.
Yeah.
And so everyone, I think, like you were saying, kind of raised their game of like, oh no, this isn't just a little indie film. This is a legit piece of storytelling and something that we can have a lot of fun with, and we can make something really special with.
I think as an actor, I had at first like kind of, at first I was like, oh, I wish we had done the bunker last, was as an actor, because that was everything that's in the bunker is our most run down. Like we are at our lowest. And I just thought with 2 weeks filming, we'll be exhausted. That's a good place to put, however, I do think as a production wise that the morale build of filming in there first was a really good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was tough because the second day in the bunker, you had ultimately the emotional climax of this film.
Yeah.
And we're trying to kind of jump, jump to that after a day and a half.
Yeah.
When, okay, well, think about the 65 story days that we've gone through, or like the 12 days of filming. We don't know what that's quite going to look like yet, but, just imagine you've been through all that. And it's a heavy lift.
Yeah.
Wrap up the script that you haven't filmed yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's a heavy lift, and like it's I think it's a testament to the both of you as performers, as actors, like how you were able to compartmentalize those things, and like, where do I need to be in this moment? How can you ask for help from me as your director? Like, what do you need in this moment? Like, do you want to take a second here? Like, what are your questions with this? For you to, I can't wait for people to see that scene. It's just, it's beautiful, and it's heartbreaking, and it's also kind of inspiring, and like the heart of the film is in some of those scenes. So
I was really like,
on day two, it was incredible.
I will say, like, day two, us filming our big bunker scene that you're speaking of, I walked away from that. Tara, you killed it. You were just phenomenal.
Nice.
And I had so much more confidence in the movie itself from that moment on. I was like, oh, we can do this. Like, we can pull off carrying a movie, which I know is very conceited to say, but it's terrifying. It's terrifying to try to make a feature film with just yourselves ever on screen. And it is. It's a scene towards the end that we're filming day two, and it's so emotional, and it is kind of probably the most real acting in the whole thing. It's the least comedic of the whole thing. This is like based. And I thought, oh, we can do this. We've got this whole thing. Yeah.
Well, and I think because every department did something really cool in those first 2 days. So like everyone, the camera guys did some really cool stuff. The art department got to show off how great they are. The lighting team got in there and made it look really, really cool. Like the shots, where the lighting is all red and so cool. Everyone got to do a little bit of flexy muscle stuff in those first 2 days, and everyone was like, okay, everyone I'm surrounded by is doing it. We're all bringing fun art to this game, and so we all got real happy and comfortable real quickly because we all got to just flex a little muscle and go, all right, we're on a good set. This is gonna be a great other 10 days to go on the next location.
Yeah.
And we
I think,
we earned each other's trust that way.
Yes.
and that's it. And you also create, and Allison, you're so good at this, creating an environment where people feel empowered to bring ideas and to bring suggestions. And not every idea is gonna be the one that we go with, but creating the space where you feel like you can share it and you can say it, and like, hey, what if we put the camera overhead here and shot this kind of bird's eye POV thing? Like, that would be cool. Like, yeah, let's see how long that takes us to set up. We could do that. And then there's times when I say, hey, could we try this thing? It's like, well, we don't have the time for that one this time, but keep giving me your ideas, and because they're great.
I'm also gonna say, when dinner rolled in and it was like a legit spread of food, I can't tell you how much that first day of food, when you roll in and it's like a buffet with really good food, everyone's like, oh, we're doing, and the sandwiches, you had like 4 different options for your sandwich. You didn't get to pick like a cookie. You got to pick your sandwich.
It did become a lot about like which cookie.
It did become about the cookie.
But so I will say that day one set a tone. Like we weren't behind. We weren't, like everything was running smoothly. We all were getting along. Food was great. We're not exhausting each other. Like, you do go, okay. I have been on so many sets where day one is a nightmare. And then, it's like people are so behind. Things aren't working yet. Equipment's missing. Cha-cha-cha. And it's like, okay, well, we'll get into a rhythm. And you do get into a rhythm, but the morale of what you lose by not being already in your, now of course there's going to be hiccups and stuff when you're first starting out, but like the prep that I think, and I keep coming back to the amount of prep work that the 4 of us did and everyone else did, that is the reason that everything went smooth. And it is worth it, because you can have 4 days of everybody trying to get on the same step, get in cadence with each other, or you can hit the ground running and never fall behind. And I think there was one day where we were all exhausted. And I don't know there was just one day where we were inside with the lights out all day, and everyone by the end of it, everyone by the end of it was like, I don't want to play this game anymore. But then the next day was fine. But if you had that as like day one, no, it takes so long to get that emotions back to a good place. People already got there. So starting off on such a good foot, kudos team, everyone involved for everything that you did to make that happen.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give it all to Allison.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, a good executive producer, a good person at the helm, like, just, it sets the tone for everybody else to do their best work, to bring their best game, to put their best foot forward. And like, what is it you guys always say? Like, be the change you want to see. It's not that, but
it's very similar.
Very similar.
It's sort of like golden rule, but it's like, just like bring the energy you want to receive.
Yeah.
And I think that was like a big driver for, I like a little mantra, and it's like, for this set, like, that's, I want, like, even when the days are hard, like, I want to make sure that, like, whatever I would like to be getting back from, like, everyone on set, like, that's the energy I'm going to bring with them.
Yeah, I want to just set the tone for the rest of the 10 days after the bunker, the experience. Like, all right, we're changing locations. Now you get to have more space. Now we get to go outside. Now we get to deal with it. But it set the tone for the next however many days together, that like every day we came to set, and it was another positive, incredible experience, at least from my perspective. I don't know what your full days were like, but because they were, there's a lot going on every day.
There was a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah. Yeah, just the moving parts and pieces within the house, like, because we had, I don't know, like 10 rooms in the house. No, I don't know how many rooms. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a couple other spaces, a kitchen, like just the shuffle game that we were all playing every day with all of everyone's equipment and all their stuff. Like, I don't know, that was wild. How did you decide, like, hey, let's go in this order of filming because it makes things easier?
I think scheduling was a big. I mean, like we were pretty agile. When you have Ryan, our first AD, on the podcast, I'm sure
Yeah.
you can be like,
Oh.
Mike and Allison, my gosh, they change things so often. But I think it's a lot of it was we were trying to take the learnings that we had from each day and apply that to make sure that the schedule was correct. So like especially we shot for 6 days, we're off for 2 days, and then shot for another 6 days. And so those 2 days off we were in the middle, I was like, okay, what's everything we learned from week one, so that when we go into week two, like we have a clearer view of the schedule, what we want to do. And like I think initially some of the funner flashback scenes, we've been like, oh, we really want to do that the last day. That'll be like a fun way to wrap up. But like when we looked at the things that we'd learned in terms of like how long things were taking, like how many setups we were having for certain scenes, and the yada yada, like all the things, it was like, oh man, as much as we were precious about that, like we need to pull it forward because that's like a daytime scene, and actually we have a bunch of nighttime things to shoot for this week too, which then also meant like, okay, actually we thought we were maybe going to have more sort of traditional sort of like 7 to 7 shoot days, and it's like actually it's hard. Guess what? It's hard to fake daytime for nighttime, and expensive. And like luckily the house we were in had a huge wraparound porch, so we were able to like tarp out most of the light that was coming into the house on the first floor. But like anything on the second floor, like actually had to be at nighttime. So we needed to make sure that so we slowly were shifting hours during all of that, but also with an end goal of making sure that, that we're, obviously treating people with respect and appreciating everybody's time. But also, not setting ourselves up to not make our day, or to be like, oh, we're carrying these 2 scenes. And so I think that was a delicate balance to figure out. And it felt very like beautiful, mindy, like mind palace, like picturing all the scenes and the orders. And I mean, like major kudos to y'all, because there were some days where it's like, cool, we're going to jump 17 times in the script and you're going to have to change 7 more times. And not only, again, like the prep on the costumes and the amazing work that you did, Natalie, but like as actors being able to bounce around in the script in the way that we did, because the camera was already here, so let's just do this one other thing here. But that, like, the only thing that needs to change is like you and where you are in the scene. So
it's easier for you
so
you just move yourself emotionally, go.
Easy, right?
You recall that line.
But I think that was a sort of ever moving target. And I think as much as you want to be like, yes, we set the schedule, this is gonna be so perfect, like really trying to actively implement the things that we were learning every day to be able to do it better the next, I think was really important.
Yeah, because we're still on a budget, and we still have the resources we have. And is it easy to tent an entire house and then do that thing? Well, I mean, in theory, yeah, but you need budget. You need, you
need bodies too. You got one guy out there trying to like tarp the entire
Bond's
house.
out there holding the fort down. Shane's inside.
Tarping the whole world.
And it's tricky. It's tricky stuff, and you don't know until you're there how the sun reflects into the room that we have. Oh, it's cloudy, so actually it kind of looks like evening now. But so do we kind of light to counteract that? Do we kind of lean into that? But then the knock-on effect of that, because this is later on. I mean, it's a constant, moving thing. Which
so what I'm hearing is write less nighttime scenes, and it's like a tornado.
You're gonna run.
Hold on.
You're gonna.
Writing is like a tornado. Filming is like a tornado. So you want to be interior, away from windows, and just relying on never relying on natural light. Yes, I'm writing the next thing is only in a closet.
Only in a closet.
But then that, is that going to increase your lighting budget? You need more money for that.
Like, we didn't have any of those issues with the bunker. Okay,
that's a good point. Yeah, next thing, all in a bunker.
All in a bunker.
Yeah,
you just got to figure out how to mix it up and make it interesting.
Yeah, but
it's a very big bunker.
Blast from the past too.
I never saw the first one.
Oh my gosh, y'all! Come on.
Oh my god,
bunker research here, people.
I forgot about Blast of the Past. I gotta go rewatch that.
I didn't.
Not too late now, but whatever.
Research list.
that was not on there.
Oh man.
I think one of the things that we don't talk about a whole lot when you listen to podcasts and stuff is talking about the wrapping it up process. Like, there's a word for it. We call it wrapping out, but no one ever talks about, like, I learned about wrapping out by being in the middle of it one time. Be like, oh, I owe paperwork. Oh, hold on. Let me get my receipts together. We four, as well as the art department, my parents stayed like an extra week because we did have to wrap out an entire house of stuff. What was the wrap out experience for you on this one?
It was more work than I had hoped it would be. Because that first Monday, I think we were all like, no alarms, we sleep in. But it's the like, I'm such a person where like the to-do list will nag at me, so I'm like, I gotta get up and I gotta
100%.
I gotta go move the things. And like I think we were able. I so appreciate how everyone pitched in terms of like packing things up and being able to move things out. Because you're right. We filled an entire house, which was awesome. But that also meant that we had to take an entire house apart.
You guys showed up with 3 cars one day to take things back.
We did, yes.
Yes.
And then that still wasn't everything.
And that wasn't everything.
Still
And
wasn't
it still wasn't It was like moving. At one point, I'm sitting there like wrapping up things from the kitchen and putting them into boxes. And I'm like, I feel like I'm moving out of this house right now. Like it was that much stuff.
I think I said that to Kevin at one point. It's like, it feels like, the end of like fall semester, or like one of the, whichever one I said. Like, it's like the end of my first year at uni. And like, you're taking everything out to move home again.
Going home for the summer.
Like it's one thing to like bring things in because you kind of bring things in a slow trickle and it's kind of fun. And like you guys went and we did shopping. You guys got from your parents, Allison. Like we kept pulling things in. And once you get it all there, like you live with it for a while and then you forget. This always happened to Natalie and I when we were filming. We'd start pulling things out and doing this and doing that. And then the hardest part was cleaning it all up because you're like, oh God, now I got to take it all back where it came from.
Or decide what to do with it.
Yeah.
Which like we had bought some furniture for this film. And so from thrift stores, we're like, okay, what do we do? And like one of the people we bought the table and chairs from, I would just like text them. I was like, would you like this back? Like you can sell it again. Like we don't need it anymore. And they're like, we'll come get it. I was like, great.
We'll sell it again.
So much.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just, and like no one ever talks about this either. The trash, the amount of trash a set made. And this is not just this set. This is every set I have ever been on. At some point I am putting giant bags of trash in the trunk of my car and trying to figure out where the heck to take them because you run out of space. Like just the amount of, we had piles of wood for crying out loud, like just piles of wood from boarding up the windows.
I
So
think,
like grateful to the local theater company, Theatersville came and took all the extra. Like, excited to see that in a future production.
I was just going to say, I think add to that that initial list that we had of your pre-production, blah, 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 like an exit strategy. Like, and that includes trash. Like where is the trash gonna go? Like, I know you always think about, like, you think about it a little bit, but no, 100%. Where is the trash? Like, who's taking the trash? Is there a dump? Like, we were like doing those kind of, because you can't take care of it all in one spot. So yeah, adding that to your pre-production checklist of the where's the trash gonna go?
And look, I mean, we did the best we could. We donated as much as we could. All that stuff. I mean, as we got giant 5-gallon things of water that refillable water bottles. Like that's like we did as much as we could. But there's still gonna be stuff like, well,
it just is.
We don't need this thing anymore. Like we can keep taking, runs of stuff to the thrift store, but at some point they're going to turn us away, and then it needs to go somewhere. We need,
Yeah. It's just it's a lot of stuff that I don't think most people even consider. Like Natalie is saying, your pre-production plan, make sure that exit plan is your exit strategy. Like was there a ton of like paperwork, Allison, to be doing after the thing? I don't know. I usually am the one doing it. It's weird not to see paperwork.
Not crazy amounts. I think most of the things that we'd signed were like already signed and good to go. So like things were just getting picked up as agreed upon. But and then it was just waiting for our crew to invoice to be able to pay them. So like more electronic paperwork.
You guys would be surprised, audience. You'd be surprised how hard it is to get people to invoice you. Like people just money. And honestly, like I am guilty of this in past things where it's like, oh yeah, I'll take care of that later. It's because, but yeah, getting people to send you their invoices is like pulling teeth sometimes.
Oh, it
I'm
cracks
just
me up.
I would like to pay you. Hello.
I would love to give you your money. I would like to like get this out of my account so I can stop worrying about it being in my account. Please
it still sits on my brain.
Yeah. I would like to give your monies,
Well,
please and thank
Shannon
you.
West was like waited for 3 months to give us, at least she was trying to give us money to make this movie, and we were like, we kept punting it. Well, no, we're almost ready. We're almost ready.
Wait,
Like
hold on,
sometimes,
hold on.
sometimes getting and giving money is like the hardest thing in the world. So we're guilty
No
as well.
joke. Yeah, no joke. I had to wire money to a nonprofit organization yesterday. Why is that the most difficult process, is giving money to a nonprofit in a way that doesn't, there was no route that did not cut into the money that I needed to donate. I was like, well, I guess $25 is just going to go to e-commerce. You know, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. We're almost done here. What?
Shannon said it was one of the most difficult things she's ever done was giving us money.
And not
No,
giving us money. It's the process. The process.
That's not true, Shannon. It's really
Shannon,
easy. We've got
so
it all
easy.
set up now. You jumped on board so early.
You were just so eager.
You were
Yeah.
ready.
And we were so grateful.
Yeah, we
But
didn't have a
we
bank
weren't
account
ready.
yet. Yeah,
We weren't ready.
you had to put it in the proper bank account because there are rules here. All right, before we let you guys go, like one more little question. What was your favorite part of filming the movie? Aside from me, because I know I'm amazing.
Obviously,
No
the two of y'all.
notes.
But I think y'all play into sort of my favorite. I think my favorite part was like sort of what y'all already touched on. I think was like I was just really proud and grateful for the cast and crew we were able to pull together, and like the way that everyone, while there were lots of discussions happening on set, like everyone was able to meet everyone with respect and kindness, and having it was a bunch of strangers a month ago who met for the first time, and being able to gel in the way that we did, and yeah, I think just be kind to each other was I think just really my favorite part. And like people that I'm like so excited for, like we have some of the crew who are making their own first features, and like getting to hear about like what they're doing and how that's going. And I'm such a fan of so many more people now, and I'm just grateful for how like my network expanded through this, but also for just like what wonderful humans we got to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think kind of similar to that, there was a moment, I can't remember which day, but it was Natalie, your big long zombie monologue, and look, there was a moment, and look, I knew I wanted this kind of slow, this slow kind of dolly push in, as you're saying, because I wanted to see if you could do it in one take. And you'd been working on this speech, this script, and it's like 90 seconds.
Yeah, I think you
like
touched on it
2
last week,
minutes
right?
or
Yeah.
and yeah, you mentioned it last week, but there was a moment, there was, okay, well, we could shoot it this way, we could do it this way, or I think it was Shane or somebody was like, well, what if we like suspended the dolly track, put the camera underneath the track, and slowly push in that way, because then we can get the full move, the full distance. And Dave was like, yeah, great, let's do that. And so they're building that. G&E's kind of building that. We've got Shane's doing some of the lighting things, Dave's somewhere else. The rest of the crew is moving stuff from
Production design
is kind of shifting stuff around because we've turned around the room again, all this kind of stuff. And Natalie, you were sat there as kind of people were lighting and like getting marks and all this kind of stuff. And Tara, you were kind of out taking pictures. And there was just a moment, and you were stood next to me taking pictures, and you just went, "This is so cool." And I thought, this is it. And then Natalie, like first take, Natalie, you nailed that.
Nailed it.
Don't know
Straight
how.
through.
It was wild.
It was crazy. And Brian, Brian,
You and
who
Brian,
had never,
I
Brian
don't-
had he'd read the thing, but didn't know how long you were going to take to do it.
Yeah.
Landed in your close up at the right time.
Exactly
Mic on
perfect.
focus, perfectly in focus. Boom, always just out of frame. I'm at the
I
monitor.
almost ruined
with,
it.
I'm just screaming.
Like going, oh my God, I
Oh
almost
God, this is
ruined
great.
that take.
I'm at the monitor with Ellen and Craig, two of our incredible executive producers, and it was just this moment of like, it shows the prep that we've done, it shows the crew that you assembled, and the attitude that we all have, the prep that you've both done, not just in the script but in the performance of this thing. I mean, Tara, you were kind of off screen at this point, but still prepped
I
for
know
this moment.
I was eyeline. I was eyeline for that.
Yes.
And it was just that whole kind of thing together collectively of like, we took, this wasn't the simplest way to shoot this moment in the script. We could have filmed it a lot simpler and easier, but all of us collectively at this point were like, you know what, let's take the big swing, let's do this thing. And it was just a moment of just feeling like, oh, this is why we do this, and this is, I can't wait for people to see that moment. And it's so funny. It's It's fantastic.
And I agree with all of that. I love that monologue.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's so fun.
yes, girl.
Yeah.
What is up with that?
What is up with that? Yeah, I can't wait to show you everybody all that stuff. There's so much fun stuff.
That monologue got longer and longer every time we did a read of it. Like every
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
That monologue did not start out that long, but every time we would do it, I would add something to it. And I was like, yeah, and what about blah, blah, blah?
And it was just funnier and funnier. And the longer you kept going, I was like, this is still really funny. Keep going.
Yeah. And our script supervisor, Rachel, was at monitor with me. And after each take, she'd lean in and say, well, she added this one thing. It's like, no, I know. And it's fine.
It's okay.
Like, we're doing it one. That's fine.
It's great.
Yeah, it's good. It's solid.
There's one line that I never said, and I'm so mad at it. I never said they waste so much food.
Oh,
like it
that's
never
true.
once got
Yes.
said, and it wasn't until I was looking at my script later on I was like, oh.
They do too.
You can blame
So
me for
funny.
that. Just tell people I cut that. That's
Yeah.
on
They
our
waste so
Sunday
much
script
food.
meeting before we roll. Just
They waste so much food.
Wait, they do.
Oh,
they really
they
do.
do.
One
They
bite
truly
and they
do.
run off.
They run away. Oh, it's
Or
ridiculous.
stumble off, depending on
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is not going to be the last time we have you on the podcast. There's going to be a lot coming up. We got
Yeah.
post-production. We've got promoting. We've got all kinds of things, more things to talk about. I'm sure we'll talk about the filming again with you guys.
Mhm.
So,
Well, and now editing, because that's where
and now,
Mike's
yeah,
journey
there's
is
so,
taking
yeah.
him.
And Mike's about to live with our faces and our voices for a very long time. He's going to be so sick of us.
Look, I've missed you these past couple of weeks since we got back from Alabama, so it's nice to look at you on the screen.
You just scream, just syncing our voices to our visuals. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you coming on the show. You will be back. We cannot wait to have you back. Everybody, that is a wrap on Mike and Allison. Yay!
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's so fun to relive it. It's so fun to go back and talk about filming. It's
Yeah.
especially like the stories that we all could talk about. Like, oh, remember when this happened? It was such an amazing 12 days.
It's going to be fun. I keep thinking about us all going to festivals together and trying to have these conversations. And I'm just like excited about that. Like Q&As with these guys is going to be so much fun.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Yeah.
fun. We'll do like a little practice Q&A episode so we can like work on our answers because you do kind of prepare yourselves for the one but then you get the weird ones that are like, but so and so didn't dance historically speaking. You're like,
I'm winging it the entire time. I don't prep for shit, in case anyone was wondering. I memorize zombie monologues and that's it.
And that's it. All right, before we wrap up this episode, we do have a little Abby Singer. It is time to learn something new about film. If you've never joined us, the Abby Singer is the second to last shot of the day. And for us, is the second last section of the day, which is a vocabulary lesson from the film world. Natalie, what you got today?
Speaking of not prepping for
Oh, no!
I've got one. But
I was
did
gonna say.
No, it was I didn't do as much research. I last minute scrambled for one.
I was like, I normally check in before I do
Yeah.
that, so I know, but I didn't even think about it today.
No, I got one, but
okay.
like, it's not a very deep cut.
Okay.
Deep cut. No, just kidding.
The word today is deep cut.
No. So this is the vocabulary word of the day is not uncommon. Everybody knows it, but I just kind of think it's interesting. Sticks. So we all know sticks, but there's two different terms for sticks. And that's the one that always kind of confuses me. So there's a tripod. If you're putting the camera on a tripod, that's considered putting it on sticks. So if you're ever on set and you hear someone say, we'll do this one on sticks or whatever, that is referring to a tripod. However, it also, you can hear someone say second sticks. And I completely forgot that was one of those things. Second sticks.
Yeah.
Yes, that it's not a second tripod. Why would it be, huh? No, that would make too much sense. No, that is your clackboard. If you're getting a second slate, it's second sticks. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why is it called sticks then?
I've never thought about the why. Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, it's because it's two sticks on a hinge. So
That's their great reason.
So it's super complicated. I mean, it might be more
complicated.
important on why is the tripod called sticks. Like I just always assume because it looks like sticks.
'Cause
Like
it's sticks.
the little legs are like sticks. But now I'm gonna have to look that up too. But no, yeah. So second sticks. But do you ever say first sticks, do you?
No, you never say first sticks. It's not
Like,
like
does anybody refer to the clackboard as sticks ever? Like, is that like
Ever.
something that used to happen and we just stopped doing it?
yeah.
Or like,
Now that like we're talking about it more thoroughly, why do we call them like I've just accepted it as like this is what we say, instead of going why do we say that?
well, yeah. So I think from now on, instead of a clackboard, I'm just going to get two sticks and click them together.
Yeah,
Like,
click.
click,
Done.
click. Hey, which reminds me of Parent Trap. My cold
What?
medicine is kicking in. Remember in Parent Trap, they like gave him the two sticks, and that's how she was going to scare off the bears. Every once in a while, I'll be in the wilderness and I'll do that.
Oh my goodness.
moving on.
My cold medicine's setting in. Oh goodness. Oh great. Cool. All right, before we go, just a little reminder to you all out there, if you'd like to help support the movie, monetarily speaking, we got a PayPal set up for you guys. If you're ever with us live, we do these super chats. We'll take in all those little funds. We have a bank account. This is what took so long to take in Shannon's money, we didn't have a bank account. This money goes into the bank account. You have no idea how hard it is to set up a bank account sometimes. But yes, we'll take in all your funds. If you want to be an investor, email us. We would love you doing it. We are still raising funds. We got to get through post-production. We still have more people that need to be paid. All this money we're collecting is to pay people. So join us in this endeavor.
Join us in paying people.
In paying people.
It's
Help
exciting.
us pay people. If your money's going to go somewhere, may it be to people. And join us again next week. We're going to have the art department, my parents, on. They were very early on in the process of getting this movie put together. So we thought it would be the next appropriate step was to talk to them about the run up because, like we said earlier, they decked out an entire house. And so there was just an insane amount of work that went into getting this project ready. So that is going to be our next week's episode. So join us for that. And I think that's all for today. That's everything for today. My brain's slowly dying again. It's on its last legs.
Yep. It's
Yep,
over.
yep.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's done. Okay. Happy belated St. Patrick's Day, everybody. If you want to know what's wrong with me today. All right, we'll see you all next week. Guys, I almost hit end the stream.
Did you?
It was a harrowing moment where I almost hit the wrong button again. Welcome to the Credit Cookie, guys. This is the after the show time where we talk to you guys directly in the chat for 5 to 10 minutes. Today, Evening Squire. The after the show time. I'm tired. Evening Squire is going to join us today for our Credit Cookie because we has them and they were willing to. And so if you have questions for them directly, now is a great time to ask them because we'll actually respond to them directly. I was scrolling through looking for stuff, but just re-ask. If you asked something we didn't answer earlier, go for it.
I also just got an email from the theater that we donated the lumber to. As
Oh,
just
yeah?
they just were re-thanking us and saying that some of the stuff that we donated is going to be in their streetcar named Desire that's coming up in Huntsville.
That's
So I was like,
awesome.
that's nice.
Yay.
And just talking
That's
about how lovely Kevin and Trish were when they picked up.
That's so
Oh,
fun.
that's nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
hooray. That's fun. Cool beans.
Yeah.
Jackson says hi to you, Mike and Allison.
Hey, Jackson.
Hi, Jackson.
Are you guys, you aren't going to JDiff this year, right?
No.
You're missing a year? Okay, not this year. Jackson is one of our friends from the Dubuque Film Festival. So we'll see Jackson in a couple of weeks. We're going to JDiff. We're going back, which I guess we should probably like announce. Did we announce that at all, Natalie?
No. Yeah,
No.
that's happening. There's your
Yeah,
announcement.
that's happening. That's your announcement. Yeah. I was like, that is something I could announce in the top of the show, but it hasn't occurred to me, even though it's all set in stone and we're doing the thing.
We're going
And
to be
that's
doing
in a couple
interviews
of
again.
weeks' time. That's coming up, isn't it?
End of April.
Middle of late April.
Yeah.
Middle of middle April. It's like the 18th through the 25th.
Yeah.
That's late middle.
That's literally
not-
late middle.
You're actually
Late
not
middle.
wrong. That is late middle. You're not
No,
wrong
not-
at all.
Not there this year, but hopefully next year with this film, right?
Heck
That's-
yeah.
Fingers
Heck yeah.
crossed. That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
heck yeah, that'd be so fun. I hope
Yeah.
so. I'm looking forward to going back. I like the festival. I forget. I'm at this point where I'm forgetting what projects are where with festivals. Like,
Yeah.
what are we? What we were talking about Poppy Jazz for Natalie, and I was like having a really hard time remembering which projects got into which ones, and I haven't like really gone to look. I've just relied on Instagram to tell me my news.
Yeah.
As with all things right
Well,
now.
that's what I had. I'd only just looked. That's what I keep forgetting. People keep asking me if I'm going to be at a festival because Obit will be there, and then I'm like,
Right.
oh no. I like the week that we started filming, Obit was in something that was down that direction, and someone was reaching out and going, are you? Brian did. Brian was like, are you going to be at Obit? I mean, are you going to be at such and such festival? I'm like, why would I be there? Like, what? I'm like, oh no, yeah, no, I'm filming a movie.
Yeah.
But it is keeping track of it.
Yeah,
Jack Boots are
genuinely
going to try to
amazing.
make it. The Boots.
Yeah,
Mr. and
the
Mrs.
Boots.
Boots. We
Mr.
hope
and Mrs.
so.
Boots.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be
nice to see you guys
amazing.
again. Justin wants to ask, what was one thing you guys regret or wish you had done differently 2-ish weeks removed?
Ooh.
Someone else go first.
Well, I think and maybe this will be something we talk about in Q&As and things, but I fully sprained my ankle the third day of filming because I was running around we had moved our exterior days, so we needed to move this like old wrought iron furniture from my parents' house to the hero house, and was just going too fast, and it was like, and I didn't do walking good and stepped off a curb and like bit it, and it was like coincided with like lunch getting delivered at the same time, and like there was something that needed to change with that because we had different dietary needs that day, and like yada yada yada. So I just like shoved an ice pack in my sock and like kept going. So one, I wish that I had not done that, and then because I think I would have healed faster, but then two, it was a good reminder for me to just like slow down, and like as a producer, like I want to be someone that shows the entire team that like I will do the things that I'm asking them to do. But also in that moment, I was like, I had a lot of people who are much stronger than I am to move all that furniture, and like I could have been focused on the other things I needed to get taken care of while they were doing that. So that was like a good reminder for me to slow down, but also to continue to like build trust with my team by like letting them do the thing that I asked them to do.
Yeah.
I was saying that,
and Justin, you were very nice and helped, and you made me an ice pack, and it was very lovely. Thank you so much.
I was saying the other day that the one thing that I mean, one of my big learning experiences was that was with doing the social media stuff, that I had prepped things through the week of, but I didn't prep anything for the week after or the week after that, and that I need to give myself a bigger cushion. Like, and this is probably not what you're quite asking, Justin, but this is what I'm going to answer. But it was like, oh no, I've underestimated this a couple times with like trips and things like that I need to prep through the following week of like content and things like that. And just like we've talked so much about prepping for leaving your house for a month and whatever, but like even those things, it was like, okay, when you get back on the ground, you're gonna have to hit the ground running for so many other things. Like, what can you still already have prepped? Instead of prepping for a month, prep for a month and a half. Like, having even some food on the shelf when I got back. Like, you never think about that. Like, you just put some shelf stable things on the shelf so that when you get back, you don't have to go to the grocery store.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
No one wants to go to the grocery store. Yeah.
My fridge was empty, and I was like, shoot. Luckily, I work at a restaurant, so I got to eat there, but I was like, I'd still rather eat a salad.
You're going to have to do laundry. Make sure you have fabric softener. Like, do not leave your house for a month and not have fabric softener on the shelf. Like, what are you doing? That's a bonehead move. That's what I took away.
Yeah. The fabric is not soft. What will become of you?
No, the static cling out here is very real. Yeah, everything I own is staticky right now.
Staticky. Oh, that's miserable. That's miserable. Of all weird things, I wish I had done a little more like prep with my hair, because like doing me and my hair don't get along. So like getting my hair to be a consistent anything is like a thing and a half. And I had my hairdryer broke before I left, and the new hairdryer does something totally different. I wish I'd done my hair every day leading up to it, so I'd have it figured out by the time we actually started shooting, instead of just hoping, it's just hair, it'll be fine. Because it,
Well-
like, I'm sure it looked fine, but like it was driving me crazy every day. Where I'm like, just
But you
do what you
couldn't-
did yesterday.
But you honestly, you couldn't have prepped for that because the amount of humidity difference.
Yeah,
I don't think you could
That's
have
true.
quite prepped
Yeah.
for it. But yes,
Yeah.
I mean, makeup tests, doing, more of
Yeah.
that as opposed
Yeah,
to just
yeah.
going, I can do this. And then the first 3 days going and try as a learning experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The primer that I wound up, this is so ridiculous. The primer that I wound up picking was a great primer for gripping my makeup to my face, but I didn't realize that it also made my face really shiny. So it was like I looked very glowy and dewy, but that is not what we're going for in the apocalypse. We're going for things are sad and mad. So I was like, well, oops on that one. I just made powdering my nose even harder every day because I didn't think about the primer making me look, what is it? It's everyone wants to look glowy, dewy. There's a word on TikTok everyone's using, like they're trying to look glass. Gave me that great glass skin that everyone's going for, but that's not what I wanted. That's not the look we were going for. And I was like, oh, I wish I'd done just like 2 more makeup hair tests before I was like, all right, this is what we're doing every day. Because consistency matters. Continuity. Primer.
Yeah.
Use spackle. I use spackle, says Shannon. So funny.
Yeah, I guess on a self-care kind of, we had one day of like one of our first exterior days, and the sun came out, and it was still 35 degrees or whatever. But there's that funny thing, when you're, just like have an umbrella or like put sunscreen on, or like it's a long day, and it's you're not being tough or strong or good, setting a good example or whatever that means, by not taking care of yourself.
By not.
Yeah.
And not that I burned myself, but I was
Right.
a little
You'd catch a little.
rosier the following day.
Yeah, a few of you were a little pinker in the faces. I was like, oh, we didn't parent for ourselves.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Sometimes
it's
forget you're a
hard.
sweet Englishman.
I wilt like a English rose in the
Well,
sun.
you know what? It's also, but when you're on set, it's a little bit different than you're just outside doing stuff, because you often end up having to face the sun or face the same direction for a long period of time that you don't like. I kept having to my neck, the back of my neck. I'm like, I can feel I'm facing away from the sun for this long, standing in this same position. I need to get into the shade. But you don't it's not the same as when you're just outside. Like you,
No, and
not
moving
even just
around
like
and doing-
finding
Yeah.
the shade. You are just moving in general. Like you're it's so different, and you don't mentally prep for it the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rules of the world don't exist to you while you're on set for whatever stupid reason, and you think that you don't have to do the basics like chapstick and sunscreen and drinking water, when those are the things. This is the time more than ever you need to remember that. Drink water, for gosh sakes, drink water. I'm so bad at drinking water on set. Like, give me more coffee. It's bad.
Everyone have a Justin. He will just keep handing you
Yeah.
water.
That's what I learned. Everyone
I
gets
was
yourself a
hydrated
Justin.
because Justin just kept handing me my water bottle.
Yeah, you kept me well hydrated.
I got Proxy
Yeah.
Justin water handings. I was like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It was great. Get
I
you
learned
a
always
friend
bring a Justin.
who has a Justin, and that way you can use their Justin in your times of need. bring a Justin to any set. Get you a Justin, because Justin was, gosh, the MVP player of just doing all
Put
kinds
that
of
on the
random
pre-pro
stuff.
checklist.
Get you a
Get a
Justin.
Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help you guys out. Like, if you cast me, you get, hey, for everybody out there, if you cast me, you can get a Justin. You too can have a Justin. But
You can bring him with you.
Shannon, did you see my cup? Is that why you're saying that? I didn't even realize. I'm using my Roll Tide Alabama little mug
Aw,
that my
fun.
mother-in-law had made for us.
Aw.
but-
I got my Huntsville mug that you guys gave me, and then my very brand new Yes Chef mug that I just purchased. The large one.
Yes,
My
chef.
mug collection grew by 2. My mug collection grew by so many on this trip.
they're like
Bobby, I just
trebles
keep-
with
I
Tara.
know.
Like, just suddenly there's like 7 more every time she turns
I
around.
just keep pulling out mugs from the suitcase. I'm like, I don't have a problem. You have a problem. And keep setting them on the counter. Like, this is out of control.
Yeah, where's that short film where it's like the Mary Poppins bag and you just keep pulling out more?
Yeah, and
So
it's
silly.
not unique to this trip.
No,
Like I don't think
this is who I am.
I have this theory. This is a rambly way to get here. I have this theory that elevators move the same speed from top floor to bottom floor, no matter how many floors there are. So, like, if if you have a 3-floor building, like elevators are really slow and they take forever to get to that 3rd floor. But if you have a 10-story building, it takes the exact amount of time to get from the top to the bottom. Just this little theory I've got. Anyway, Tara, it has nothing to do with how long a trip is or how many places she goes along the way. She still returns with like 3 mugs from every trip that she goes to. It's just getting into a suitcase. She has a suitcase that is space for mugs. And every trip we've been on, she returns with more mugs.
Oh my gosh.
I love the title "Mugged" for that film. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tara's
Mugged.
Mugged. That's excellent.
Oh my God. My suitcase was 8 pounds over, guys. Remember I was talking about this? My suitcase is going to be
all
over
mugs.
8 pounds over. It was all mugs. 8 pounds over. And I was at the point, they're like, I was at the counter and they're like, do you want to like try and take some stuff out? I was like, it's 8 pounds, ladies. Like, I'm not getting down by 6. Like 6 is like what the number I'd have to hit. It's like,
wiggle room.
the other suitcase is completely full. My backpack is completely full. There's nowhere for anything to go. I asked them how much it was. They're like, oh, it's $100. I was like, okay. Because like, I'm like, I don't even know what's in there that like, I can't dump some of these things because they're important to, but I got lucky. And because of a computer error, I didn't have to pay. So it was all fine. I know.
I was about to say,
weird.
did you try to be
manifested.
like, well, I just filmed a movie, so this is all movie stuff.
Isn't
that fun? Can I please
They were
go
having
now?
computer issues, and I was just chit chatting with them and just being the nice customer and having no issue. No, I understand. I get it. It's your job. And like the 5th time the computer gave them the same issue, they're like, you know what? Just go. I'm like, oh, really? Thank you. I manifested that in my head. I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay. Oh, because I wanted those 3 mugs, 4 mugs, 5 mugs, however many in that suitcase.
There's no way of knowing. We'll never know.
The limit does not exist.
There is no limit.
I still don't know because you brought stuff. I don't know how you ended up with 8 more pounds.
I don't know.
Because, like, I know the mug I gave you wasn't that heavy.
I have
It wasn't a pound.
And stuff was packed into that mug. I have no idea how we got here. I don't understand
Something wet, maybe?
Oh.
it.
Ew.
I did
Sorry.
soak the bag.
Yeah, just
We
taking in wet stuff in my suitcase.
No, when we
Yeah.
were in Waco last time, leaving the Waco Film Festival, we went from like a damp area to a damper area. And somehow when we opened up our suitcases, I was like, Tara, my clothes are all wet. Like it was like there was so much moisture in the air when we left Waco, which is not something that normally happens. But like our clothes were just wet.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It was horrible.
I mean, people who live in the
horrifying.
South, I'm sure they have some notion of this, but I didn't understand. I'm sure my suitcase was
why?
heavier that time than when I came.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, why is everything damp? It was so funny. So funny.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
Oh, dirty clothes. No, actually, all my clothes are clean because I saved Aunt Lily and I got to do one more load of laundry. Thank you, Aunt Lily. It was so great to come home to clean clothes, to just put it all away. Ugh, love Aunt Lily. All right, guys, we got to get going on with our day. Thanks for joining us for the after credit cookie. Right, I was reading the word mugged while trying to speak. Don't try to read and talk at the same time. We'll see you guys all next week again for the credit cookie as well. And yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.